You don't have 30 years in the business. You got 3 years according to your philosophy.
What are you drinking anyway? That's clear looking. I ain't got no power in it.
So this is my handy dandy tequila and Sprite.
This shit's good.
It is.
I like Tito's and Sprite too.
You know, it's funny. I'm not a big Tito's fan.
You don't like it? The only problem I have with Tito's is that I feel, and I don't know why this is, it feels like it takes longer for me to feel the effects of it. But tequila is my favorite by far. For shots, like it's just right to the point.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't like dark liquor at all. I feel like the only time I drink is when I'm sad, so it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's true, but
So I'm a big whiskey and scotch guy.
You like
mostly when cigars. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's rich people problems right there. When you got to put ramen noodles on layaway, you don't be drinking whiskey and cigars.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. Yeah, but we still got to figure out we're going to freestyle this rap later, though.
Right. We may have to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean you can, but only one of us got rhythm.
See, if I can't do it by myself, it got to be a joint effort.
Yeah, we can do the. Yeah, we got.
So I guess I'll follow your lead.
Yeah, man.
With the show.
With the show, you're just going out there, man. Well, thank you.
Started the shows.
Oh, we already started it.
Did we?
There we go. So we're already there, man.
Right,
so we're having a good time, man.
Right.
But anyway, man. Well, I'm Richard Shelton. Tell me about yourself, man.
Adonis Lockett. I am the principal of a national private money lender. I'm also that my lending company is also a fund. So I'm raising $100 million for my fund. I'm also the fund manager for my national lending company, L&H Capital. I also am the principal of a national real estate investment firm, Lockett & Homes, which is a real estate brokerage in Texas, California, Florida. We're a mortgage brokerage in California. We're a wholesale company, property management company, holding company, flip company, and a real estate tech platform, my RA360, and I have 11 offices in 9 states.
Man, you got a lot on your plate, man.
Got a lot going on, right?
Man, what made you get started into doing that? Well, first off, before we start with that, man, how did how can people, if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to follow you?
Check me out on Instagram. I'm heavy on social media, Facebook and Instagram, at Adonis Lockett.
Okay.
Pretty much I'm dropping every day. I try to just provide some information about the real estate investing industry, whether it be something positive, something funny, just something informational. But my goal is just to provide as much information about real estate investing as a whole to as many people as I have access to.
Oh, man, we love it, man. I hope I'll learn a lot from you. I look forward to hearing what I'm going to learn from you.
Yeah, right.
And then if I got something I can share with you, awesome, man. But I think what I love most about this business is the connections you're able to make and what I'm able to learn.
Oh, right. I'm trying to be like you.
You're trying to be like me. Shoot, man. Hey, you spend $25 on artlogo.com, you can be just like me. It's
well done, actually.
Yeah, I like it, man.
Yeah.
I have two. This is the one I use for the regular logos, and then I have a one with just my initials, RMS, and then I actually got that. I was talking with Grant one day, and you got to you need to brand yourself because one day you're going to matter, and it would be too late by then.
Yeah,
and
Grant.
I was like, Cardone, say, okay, you don't like that guy? Look at that face. I'll tell you what, though. All right, I mean, say what you want, but the dude has energy, man.
The problem is that it's just misplaced.
How's it misplaced?
I feel like he could just be so much more constructive in his message. And the thing is, it's not. So I even hate to say that like out loud, just because it's not for me to to have my opinion, because it's nothing. That's all it is, my opinion. I just feel like for the number and the amount of people that follow him, he could be a lot more constructive in the message that he puts out.
Okay, well, we'll see if we can drag his ass up here. Come on, man, come see us. Come out here and talk, man. Tell us about that message. So I mean, that's obviously good. So I mean, you got 11 offices in how many locations?
11 offices in 9 states.
In 9 states?
9 states.
9 states, man. The only state that would give me is a state of confusion. What's that's why you got the happy cup,
right? Big facts.
That's big facts. Big facts. Which is fun. When I got into real estate, it was I came from automotive world. I spent 2.5 decades managing dealerships, and then. Left there, wanted to get into real estate for the exact opposite reason. I didn't want to work all the time.
Right.
I had an illness that was causing some issues. Had some pulmonary embolisms, which is just blood clots in the lungs. And then they told me, hey, you can't go to the gym for a little while. You need to be a little bit more careful. And I'm like, fuck, man. Well, okay, so let me change my life. My kids are getting older, and time's starting to look more important to me. So I want to take my funds and put it into real estate, and then I'll go hang out with my kids. And then for me, what ended up happening is the work ethic doesn't stop. If you're a hustler, you're a hustler. So so I tried not to work, and then it was like, I was like, wait a minute, man, I can make how much? Hold on, let me get on one more deal, baby. So we started going after it. We're having fun, and me and my partner, we built it up, and then just started getting some guys and getting some stuff. So I'm not quite at your level, and I hope to be at some point. Maybe I don't know if I want to have nine states, but I want to dominate this one. Texas is my home, and it's a big ass state.
It is.
It's I'm from Fort Worth, living down in Corpus, and I buy stuff everywhere in between, whether we're gonna keep the property long term or flip it or whatever.
Well, you buy everything between Corpus and here?
Anything I can, man. Any market.
You manage all of them?
Well, not just me. Not me and my partner. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we got two people that are primarily in charge of everything, but we also have now, and this is recent development, as in like month. I started training up our acquisitions team to start pulling away from having to be so hands-on. Because literally, if you were a year ago, I'm driving my ass up here to Dallas. I'm driving up to Houston or Austin to go look at the property, figure out what I'm going to do. I'm going to work it up and let's lock it down, contract it up, and that was fun. But then you start reaching a point where you're like, okay, the volume's too high, and you can't be everywhere at once. So in an effort to make my life better and to spend more time with my kids, I went back to saying, okay, I want to train some teams and go back to what I do know, and that's managing groups and managing people. So then we'll build up the teams we need, train them up where they are, make them self-sufficient, and then let them get on. And I think you've already, obviously, you figured that piece out pretty well. So, man, I'd love your insight. What would you tell people about managing some teams and running some teams?
I would start with this. One, they have to be at my level of intensity, of aggression, of work ethic, of learning curve. They pretty much have to be symbiotic with the way I operate, or they won't work. Yeah. And I can tell you, those 9 locations have had heavy churn, even at the location management level itself.
Sure.
Just because, for me, if I'm going to open up the entire operation that made me successful, and I'm going to give it to someone who, and I hate to use this term because it's so cliche, but someone who hasn't earned their stripes, where you're walking into an operation that I or someone else put years building, hundreds of thousands of dollars, perfecting, you have to come in and you pretty much have to earn that. You have to earn that a different way. I earned it through the multiple losses, the multiple failed relationships with my subs and vendors, the multiple, sleepless nights. And for you, who just walks into an operation that people spend, a decade building, there has to be something that allows me to trust the operation with my name attached to it solely to you. And the way that has to be earned is that there's no such thing as not getting it done. There is no such thing as I didn't have time. Because the number one thing that anyone could do to just piss me off is tell me they don't have time. And what I always tell people is not that you don't have time, you just have poor time management skills.
Absolutely.
Because for me, who can manage X number of people, X number of locations, X number of deals, and X number of businesses in the same 24 hours, and you can't do 1 or 2 things in that same time frame, it's not that I'm better or more efficient, it's just that you're just not organized. And it's my job to show people how to get that organized, and if you can't step up, then you're not the right person, bottom line. I will never,
and I gotta go,
never lower my standards to accommodate mediocrity.
Yes.
So the people who are in my sphere are the absolute best at what they're doing, or they're working to be the best, and there will be no exceptions, because I will accept absolutely nothing less than that.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree with you, man. You got to have the people who are going to go out there and do the work for you. You can teach them processes and teach them certain skill sets, but if you don't have the energy, the intensity, the desire, the work ethic, the heart to do the job, then you're not going to fucking make it.
Exactly.
And that was very similar in automotive. You either are a producer or you're not a fucking producer.
Right.
And if you're not a producer, there's nothing I'm going to do that I can teach you to do a little bit better. I can make you better at the technical skills. But if you're not somebody with a mindset of making a solution instead of an excuse, it takes about the same amount of energy. You're not going to get the damn job done.
Correct.
You know, so I'm with you 100% on that. Sober or not, you know, it's
Right.
you know,
Right.
if I didn't have another thing, man, I'd be in with you, man. But I got to drive to Fort Worth, and I have 2 levels of drinking, 0 and all. It's you know, it's bottle down or bottle up. There's no in between.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
obviously, man. You know, my life's a buffet, so like you know, there's no halfway. So the same thing with business. You know, I tried. I made a conscious effort to tone down the desire to run you know, an enterprise. You know that.
Why?
Why? Well, here's why. Because I wanted to pull away from running the dealership world, because I was working. I'd be there, you know, 7 o'clock and 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, leave 10 o'clock at night. I never saw my kids. I went on one vacation in 25 years for 7 days. That's it, one vacation. And I said, "Fuck that, I'm out."
You know the problem is?
Yeah. What's that?
Have you ever read the book Who Not How?
Nope.
See,
Who not how? Who not how? So
Who Not How?
Yeah, here we go.
Is
Who Not
I'll
How?
tell you 3 books that changed my life.
Okay,
Who Not How?
got it.
Extreme Ownership.
Yes, I like. Yeah, I got. Love that one.
Right. A Message to Garcia.
I don't know that one either.
All right. So
All right, Message to Garcia. Who not how?
and extreme ownership. So Who Not How explain is simply this: the book tells you to retrain the way you think to ask yourself this question. Change it from how do I get this done to who can help me get this done.
Yeah.
And that
When you learn to
mentality,
delegate. Yeah.
because one it says it takes you out of every transaction, and it allows you to put the right put people in, but then it also talks you through how to get these people groomed to operate exactly as you do.
And that's super important for me right now, because right now, going from an industry I knew for many, many years, and I know how to train those people for that, is starting to teach new people in a duplicate area to duplicate me.
Right.
And right now, this is I mean, I've only been in this space since really 2019, but I guess about 2018. So whereas I had 30 years of confidence in one space, now I'm still, I might be doing good on paper, but I'm still new to the game.
Right.
You know, so I'm humble enough to know, hey, I'm not the badass I was in this other world, so I need to train these guys as good as I can, but I'm also learning as I'm doing it too.
Right. So, but what's the point of you having? Why are you teaching people to replicate yourself?
Well, I mean, the main reason being is I wanted to free up some time to go into some other ventures. I got some other.
So you're implementing Who Not How.
Yeah.
Without even
That's
knowing
what I'm saying.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly, because, and the reason being is I need to create an exit for myself, because I have another project which you're gonna help me do.
Okay.
I believe it. Okay, it's a huge ass capital fund, and I need to help learn how to build the fund.
Okay. I'm in the middle of raising $100 million for my fund right now.
It's a little bit bigger project, but
Okay.
we're gonna do this thing,
Okay.
because you know a skill set that I don't know, and I need that knowledge.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll give you a little insight of it. It's a development. We've talked to the city. We got some planners. City's down. It's a pretty big deal. It's a 344-acre development. It's a fly-in community. Are you familiar with those?
I am.
You fly in the plane.
Yep.
Park your
Park
plane
right
under the
yeah.
thing. So it's a mixed use. We got a public-private partnership we're working on with the city for
Where
a part. It's down in the Coastal Bend area.
Okay.
And so on the water. On the beach, it fantastic views. It's going to be something pretty badass.
How big is the project?
344 acres is the size of it. It's going to be about, at this point, we're still trying to price things out. We're running about 300 mil.
So I'm doing
Yeah.
a $340 million project in Alabama right now.
Okay, what kind of project's that?
So
Let's talk about that.
Right. So
So y'all ready to, how do they get a hold of your fund?
So lnhcapital.com.
Okay.
So anyone who was looking to get a loan, www.lnhcapital.com.
No, how do they invest with you?
Anyone that wants to invest in the fund, lnhcapital.com/invest.
Perfect.
That's
Okay.
simple.
Okay.
But we're doing the 300. So the University of Tuskegee, Tuskegee Airmen, all that
Got
good
it.
stuff.
Perfect.
So the city of Tuskegee, cities of Tuskegee, does not have hardly any residential. So this development group got awarded a $30 million tax credit to build, I think it's like 20,000 units in the city of Tuskegee to give Tuskegee residential population.
Okay.
So that project,
That's nice.
we've been working on it since February. That project totals $344 million. And I got the preliminary yes on it from capital markets probably about 3 weeks ago.
Perfect.
Right. So it took us about 5 months to get it all carved up. But right now we're in phase one of funding our first 35 million of that $340 million project. It's going to be a 9-year project, and I think we should be funding phase one by mid-October.
Perfect. So you have to. How many phases do you have set up on this plan?
This
Or do
one
we all know yet?
has right now we're at 17 phases.
Okay, yeah. I mean, and that just breaking that out seems like astronomical to me, man.
It took us
It's,
5 months to properly break
and,
it out.
and that's what,
right.
like, when we started talking about this project, it basically came by because somebody went to one of my meetups and then they said, hey, I need some help refinancing a hangar because it's on a land lease and my bank won't loan it because it's, different times. And I said, well, I can just loan you the money, but it's, if you need it, but what are you trying to do? Well, I have a flight school and it has this. I said, man, I know this property. Let's build this. Are you down? And then, who do you know that's got some money and who do you know that has some knowledge? And then, so we started putting these pieces together. Well, it ends up being, just by the way the good Lord works, in my opinion, I don't know, for anybody who feels different, that's your business. You're wrong, but it's still your business. It's, so it's okay to be wrong. The way the good Lord works for me, I mean, I ended up talking with him. Well, he happens to be the flight instructor for the mayor's husband.
Nice.
And then I'm like, how the fuck did that work? Okay, great. All right. So then one of his other pilots said he flew with. He's a Marine pilot, a retired Marine pilot, and one of his was a friend with the city manager.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, great. So we got those people on board. Then when I was working on another project for helping a guy get a small little rental portfolio, he said he wanted 5 houses. I said, okay, no problem. I got plenty. Just let me know what you want. And then so I talked to him. Well, that guy is a builder, and he connected me with a developer out in Houston. And
Right.
so it started all coming together. I said, okay, this is the general game plan idea of what I'm trying to do, and this is kind of what everybody wants, and this is what the cities tell me they want, and what you guys tell me can happen. Help me make money.
Right.
It's I don't care. I like the ego of it, and that's great, and that looks good on Instagram. But if this thing ain't making money, I need to go do something else.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's
Right.
like and they're like, yeah. So we started working on that deal, but it takes so much time. I mean, just from the environmental aspects of getting the approvals from there to how does tech stop. We had a meeting with FAA. We got meetings. Just so many little, and everybody wants a piece. They all need a little
Right.
love.
Yeah, that's always the
They all need a little
funny
love,
thing. Right.
They're
Exactly.
like, and then they want and it may be financial. They want support with this, but I mean the public. Are y'all set up on any kind of public-private partnership on that? Is that with the county or the city?
So I'm only the lender in that deal, right?
Okay.
But the developers themselves, they actually do have a partnership with the city,
Yeah.
and the city and the county, and both of which I think collectively they're going to get like $30 million in tax credits that they can actually flip to use as cash towards the transaction at some point in the process.
Perfect.
How I've heard of a lot of different these strategic fundings that these developers do. This is that's not uncommon, but I was actually pretty surprised that they can use it as like a check to come to the table.
Well, what I think that they're doing is they're probably putting that in towards the budget and then cashing that out as a reserved income, so or received income that's being paid for since it's being paid for by the state or the city.
Right.
Then they're able to recapture that as an expense.
Correct.
So it would be my assumption.
Some variation of that. So they're able to treat it like cash.
Yeah.
So it allows us to
Because it is cash, just somebody else's.
Exactly.
Yours and mine. Everybody else paying taxes.
But in projects that large, most lenders don't expect you to have $30 million in your bank.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when I called up the lender and said, okay, I need 60 mil. How much do what do I need for it? Oh, we want 50%. 50%? I ain't got 50%.
Right.
They're like
talking that crazy shit.
Yeah, and then they're like
60 mil.
Yeah, and they're like, well, but can you get it 30%? Sure. It's it's like
Right.
yeah. But just give me a letter that says y'all are in. Okay, I'll figure out the money later. And then
Right.
then you start that process here. Look, they're gonna give me the money, man. Just help me put the rest of it together.
So this is what you're raising money for, this project.
This is going to be the project. We're
Okay.
going to raise it up. I mean, the other stuff, like the small projects. I'm always down, to work on those. Now, I would like to put some other smaller funds together to do equity purchases versus debt purchases.
Right.
Especially as the rates are continuing to go up. If I want to pay 12% here, I might as well fucking pay 12% to you. It's and have friends.
Right.
It's a multitude of them. But the in those regards, I have looked at those things too, but these are new developments in my world, saying, okay, I'm starting to reach a level where it's starting to grow beyond my personal day-to-day capital and capacity can handle. So now it's time to start pulling in OPM and better teams and better processes to help build that up.
What makes them better?
But what will make the better teams or better processes? No, I need to improve my processes to be better. Is what I'm really referring to. It's that I want to make my team stronger. I want to build better processes because you're allowed a certain level of freedom when you're doing it by yourself.
Right.
That when you start putting people together, they need to have a clear expectation of this is what I need, this is what I expect, and this is how I expect you to perform.
Didn't you just say you wanted to scale back?
I know I lied to myself, man. No. What I said is I wanted to scale back when I was at the dealership.
Okay.
And that was 6 years ago. Okay. So when I got into this business, my intent was to stay small enough because when you're wholesaling and flipping properties, I could make my income in a month. So I didn't need the money. It's in comparison. But what ends up happening is, if you're a person that worked your whole life, you just fucking like working, or you would have gone and been lazy your whole life. Right. So if you're a worker and you work and that's your vibe and that's your life, that's just your truth. Right. So then I was like, okay, I was sick. I feel a little sad. I got a little fat, got a little tired. And then I guess I was like, well, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway, so let's go make some big money. Right. So then I'm like, all right, well, if we're going to do a little bit, I'd rather work just a touch harder and help some other people get rich and then help me get really rich. Right. It's I like 2 commas, but if I can get up to that third one, I ain't never been to that third one.
It's game changer.
I ain't never been to the third comma. Right. Hey, have you been there?
No. I'm working on it, though. We're working on it.
But this is the first time in my life where that's in the line side of possibility. Right. Before I was like, man, if I could make just $1 million a year, that'd be awesome, man. Well, actually, at first it was like, man, if I could make I think the first job I had paid me like, I don't know, $4.75 an hour, $4.25 an hour, I don't remember. It was, and I was like, man, if I can make $5, I'm awesome. Right. But it always changed. That needle never stops. But I think that as we're as the world continues to cost more and more to thrive in, and my community, my family, and the people that are close to me, their lives continue to need more, then I need to produce at such an abundant level that I'm able to cover all of my wants and needs and carry on to theirs too.
Let me ask you. Have you made $1 million already, right?
A few.
Did it feel like you made $1 million?
Not at all. I didn't even notice. It was like
first time when I made $1 million, I didn't know that I made $1 million. And when my accountant called me and was like, FYI, you made $1 million. I was like, fucking where?
Yeah, I ain't got no money.
Like, I'm
the brokest millionaire.
Right. And so, and I asked that question because every person who started like from the working world that came and made $1 million, it never feels how we thought it would feel.
No, because it's not a number. It's more like to me it's like a scorecard for just doing what I'm supposed to do. The money. Yeah,
I know. I guess what I think the impression is that I think when I thought my idea of what it was going to feel like making $1 million, I was going to have $1 million in my account. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not how
it works. Yeah. I was saying, right? Yeah. So when he told me, and it was like, yeah, we made $1 million. I was like, where?
Yeah, but I and then you're sitting there thinking, and tell me if you didn't feel this too. But the first time they told you that shit, what's your first thought? Because mine was taxes.
My first thought was, where the fuck is it? Like, I don't see it. Yeah. And then we were probably 5 minutes into the conversation when then he was like, yeah, you got to put some aside for taxes. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, what?
I was like,
well, I got to buy this, got depreciation. I mean, you got these syndication deals, I can get some of that depreciation in. Right. That's part of the gig. But I mean, you make the money. I mean, you're doing the thing. But if you're staying engaged in that process all the time, that money comes, and the money is not, I mean, it's real, I guess, but it's an ebb and flow. That money it has a purpose.
So it's allocated.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it just sits there in your bank and stares at you. It's not like Elon Musk has $300 billion in an account.
Correct.
It's not all
spread over.
He couldn't give out $300 billion $1 bills. He ain't got it. Right. It's what evidence with buying Twitter. He had to go borrow the money to get the money to He didn't have the cash. But the
fuckery he did there.
Yeah, you like it or no?
I at some point I had to clock out because
on Twitter.
Yeah, it was just too much.
I just opened my Twitter account like maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe. I don't. I've only had it for a short amount of time, and I think I got it to watch. I wanted to watch the Trump Tucker Carlson thing. I'm like, I want to see what they're promoting the hell out of it. I want to watch it live and not through 50,000 TikTok edits.
Right.
It's because that's why I would end up watching it. And so it was, so I signed up for it.
It has like a live feature.
Yeah, you can go live, and he's got his own channel in there. Now, I don't want to spend too much energy on that topic, but he has, he had something like, at the time I watched it, like the Republican convention was going live and his was live at the same time. They did, I'd have to look at the numbers, but it was like 241 million viewers for Tucker Carlson's compared to a tenth roughly, and correct the math, as you do your due diligence.
Someone's fucking fact checking right now.
Right,
nope.
Yeah, but what I clearly remember 241 million views on the live feed, and I was like, that's insane, bro. And then, but I don't remember how much the Republican National Convention or that convention got, but it was like a tenth of the viewership. And I was like, man, so this is the path, whether it's this platform, Facebook or whomever, or TikTok or whatever, that I think the world's going to change. They're going to start getting their news and information through the social media platforms versus the news platforms. Which
is why I built my real estate tech platform.
Yeah. So tell me about this 360.
So 360, man, what it is it's going to revolutionize the real estate investing industry, like what Uber did for taxis, what Airbnb did for the hotel industry. Like 360 is pretty much going to become the spinal cord of real estate investing. It's going to pretty much have every educator, every vendor, every buyer, every seller, every real estate investment club, every supplier, every distributor, every networking event, everything real estate investing related will all plug into this platform. This platform will be the spinal cord of the real estate investing industry in every city, in every state, nationwide. Perfect. And ultimately, we're going to go international.
International. So I'm going to see your shit in Dubai.
You're gonna see my shit all over the place probably in the next few months, because I'm actually putting about $500,000 just in the marketing piece of it.
Perfect.
Probably in late Q4, and my goal is.
That sounds like a lot of money, but
it's
not. It gets depressing. You're like, it's $1 million for one commercial.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. But my thing is that. The funny thing about the real estate investing industry is that it's an industry that prides itself on who you know.
Yeah.
Yet there is not a platform dedicated for real estate investing. Real estate investing happens through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through Twitter, through all these different other platforms. Too many platforms, but not one of them are specific for real estate investing.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's what I've created with my RA 360. So the plug, I got to do the plug.
No, do the plug.
Anyone who is interested in learning the business, you come to my RA 360. You learn from local and national educators. If you, as an educator, even you, who have something to give to the world in the form of education, a how-to, or the best way to do it, I'm inviting everyone to put their education on 360. I want to make a library of hundreds of thousands of hours of education localized to the smallest cities, to the biggest metropolitan areas, with the local experts, with the national experts, everyone giving you game about how real estate investing should happen at the enterprise level all the way down to the neighborhood level.
Yeah, so I think that'll be fucking fantastic. And just a need to bounce off of that today. Today, I had somebody asking me. He actually works with Elon, saying, "Hey, can you help me do some stuff out in Brownsville?" And I go, I don't know anybody down there, but let me reach out. And
what
it would
360 will do
Yeah.
is that whenever you need a connect in Brownsville or in El Paso, wherever you are, you log on. The educators, the vendors, the buyers, the sellers, the RIA clubs, the networking events, the suppliers, the distributors, they're all there at the click of a button.
Yeah, and I think that'd be super helpful, especially like for people who want to invest outside of their local markets.
Correct.
Like whether if you're a virtual wholesaler or you want to flip, or you're just like, hey man, I live in California, I need to buy some buy and holds in Texas where I can have where landlords have rights. It's
you 360 is your vehicle to learn how to do it in Texas, to build your team and find a deal. All on a single platform. That's what 360 is for.
So are you going to have the contractors and vendors on there as well?
They're already there.
Already there.
There.
And then so when they research as a platform, it'd be cool if we could pull it up. But is there a platform in there? I bet we could. is there an option on there where they can zoom in like by map, saying, okay, I'm trying to look at this?
Absolutely. So when you start looking for deals, it actually pulls up a map of the entire city. So as you're looking through deals, here it is right here.
Yeah, there we go.
So,
yeah, can you put that up on the back screen so everybody can see it, or can everybody see it already?
Yeah,
it's
So 360 simply, when you're looking for deals, you click on find a deal, and just like that, it'll pull right up with where drop a pin where each deal is on the map.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, if you don't have
you got to get my login.
Yeah, right. I gotta go log in.
You gotta go log in. Yeah, but say, hey man, bring that keyboard. Right. It's okay, but here we go.
So everything with
who this dude?
So that's a handsome fella right
that's
there.
That's a handsome fella right there. Okay.
But the concept of 3 Simple is very simple, right? Build your network, build your net worth through our network. What 360 is going to do is, it's going to connect the entire industry on one platform.
And I think that'd be super helpful to a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that they want information, they don't know a good source to go to, so they're going to YouTube University, which I don't hate. I mean, I think everybody's learned a lot from YouTube University.
The problem is that it's hit or miss though,
and you don't know. Yeah, you don't know the content.
Know what,
and then I hate to censor anything, but sometimes some people's content should be deleted. Right. It's you're teaching people things that don't need to be taught.
Well, I mean, the craziest thing to me is that, and this is no shade to any of the educators out there, but for someone who's done a flip or a wholesale deal teaching people how to do it, to me that's why I loathe YouTube University, because you don't have enough experience to teach people how to do it. You don't know how to navigate real world issues because you haven't experienced it yourself. So how the fuck are you teaching? How you teaching people something to do something you don't even know how to do? Yeah,
and that's definitely valid. I mean, you're going out there and you're talking to people, and you know right away. You start asking questions, and they're like, "Hey, well, how did you solve the affidavit of heirship on this? What's that?
What's that?
Oh,
right?
Okay.
I'll tell you. And it's funny you mention that. A seasoned investor can always tell a new investor in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
In a 2-minute conversation and one question, you know whether someone's in the business or not. You know whether someone knows what they're talking about.
And then I don't know. You kind of get an idea. I mean, I'm fairly new to the space, so I certainly don't know everything. But I hope we're able to find. We've done a pretty decent volume amount of deals. But some of the things you're going to run into that are just consistent, or if you haven't run into these things, then you haven't done very many deals.
See, and now mind you though, I don't look at years in the business as experience. I look at it as experience, right?
Yeah.
Because your 4-year running the business will be more than most people's 10-15 year running the business.
I mean, we try to run a transaction of about one per day,
right?
And so some people are doing 12 a year.
Even at one a week,
it's like 12 a year.
Even at one a week, even at one a month, you're still way ahead of the curve.
And I run into, I was like, well, I've been doing this and I run into this with realtors a lot, and I don't want to get y'all too mad, just a little bit mad. But I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years. That's fantastic, but you didn't learn anything after the school. The difference is that the other 29 years that you were doing it, you stayed the same as you were 30 years ago.
Right.
And the world has evolved. 30 years ago, you had a cell phone. You had to push the number 5 times to get an S. Okay, right. It's now I can zoom into your front door from space on my phone.
Wait, 30 years ago?
Well, no, 30 years. Well,
I didn't even have a phone 30 years ago.
Right. 30 years ago, we had the box back phones.
With
No, that was
like 40 years.
Yeah, that was like 40 years. But 30 years ago, we did have those cell phones. I didn't have them because we weren't that level of rich. But we had those box ones that come in a suitcase. You're looking at it like, look at me, man. You had a car phone that looked like one of those dials.
Right.
Did you have one of those when you were? How old are you?
I'm actually pushing 40.
I turned 44 this year.
Okay.
So we're pretty close. So when we were kids, they still did have those little dial phones, those rotary phones.
Right.
And we'd play with.
Right.
And it's and then it went to touch tone, and you're like, oh man, this is cool, man.
Right.
But
it was a game changer.
But so much stuff has changed, and I feel like if you're not constantly evolving and learning, I go to events all over the place. And I know you don't love them, but I go to Miami, go to his events. I'm in Dallas or Vegas or whatever I can go and learn and get around other people to see what are you doing right now. I know what you did 5 years ago because YouTube told me what you put on there.
Right.
What I need to know is what are you doing doing today because, like for us, when I started adding AI into our platform, like, I mean, now I don't got to talk to the damn people.
So, and, but that's why 360 is important
Yeah.
because what it's going to do is the people that you're going to say, hey, what are you doing now? We're going to have integrated into 360. So you don't even have to find these people.
Correct.
You can log on and be like, hey, what's new?
And
to the point that we had before, before the show started, when people are in markets or in a time in the industry where they can't perform in like their rentals and stuff, this is where, hey, how do I pivot? That's where it's critical to come to platforms where people who know how to pivot and can teach other people how to do it
and find that solution,
right?
Or be the solution in some cases. That's that knowledge base is going to be important. And then what you're going to find out is it's not going to be a knowledge problem; it's going to be a doer problem.
Right?
Are you somebody who knows everything and doesn't do shit, or are you somebody who's going to take the knowledge you got and apply it? If you can't apply the knowledge, it doesn't matter what I teach you. I mean, we can give you the whole deal, but if you're not going to go to work, then you ain't going to have nothing.
It's completely irrelevant.
And
exactly
and so I mean, on your platform here, there you go. Here's the golden goose. So you're gonna lay some eggs. Or you're just gonna watch it run around.
Right.
Exactly.
It's
like a good deal. And that's what I love about getting out there and doing it. Say, listen, you can go and listen to whatever. You can watch YouTube University, or you can just come hang out with me for a weekend and we'll make 30 grand. What do you want to do?
Right.
See,
but now I will tell you the misconception about real estate is that you come in there and in a couple of weeks you can make 20, 30,000. But a lot of people hear that part, but they don't understand all of the grunt work that goes into it, and then the heartache that goes into it as well.
Yes.
So that's a common misconception.
God. Yeah. Nobody wants to worry about the labor pains. They just want the baby.
It's the glitz and glam of it is always the light at the end of the tunnel, but traveling through that tunnel can get...
nobody wants to talk about the deals that you had to keep paying for that didn't sell.
Right.
They don't want to talk about the contracts that you put under that couldn't close because you couldn't get the signatures, or they backed out, or somebody snaked you, or went around you,
and
or the seller.
All part of it, and no one is immune to it,
or whatever the case may be. I mean, it's no one ever wants to bring up those challenges, but the negative I think to that is, since nobody's bringing them up, nobody's teaching anybody how to overcome them.
Right.
Because they're simple things to fix in some cases, a lot of times, but you have to have a plan. You have to know.
Let me ask you this then. What happens when you got a contractor that's taking more money than job work they've done, and then they've pretty much stopped coming to your job? What do you do?
So that for one, you only let that happen once,
right?
Because then you realize you got to meter out that money correctly,
right?
And I'm guilty of it too. Because they're good salespeople too.
Oh,
they put on, oh man, I got to pay my guys. It's Friday. The rent's due. Man, my truck. The only way I can make it is if my truck's paid.
You're right.
It's
you heard it all.
Yeah,
right?
It's like man, I get it, and you want to be empathetic because you're a human being and you want to be helpful, but you have to stick to the agreement. That first you have to make an agreement and understand the agreement, and then you have to understand that there's not enough light at the end of the job. They ain't hanging out.
Not at all.
They're gonna cut bait because they're gonna do the math. They're gonna be like, man, we got $5,000 worth of work to do and only $1,000 left on our payroll, and they're just going to cut bait. So,
and the crazy part, that last 10% is often harder than the first 90%.
Yeah, going out there, it's easy to tear a house apart. To go demo, and that's what they're going to sell you. Oh, look at it, man. We got the walls down. We got this down. We got the big deal, man. I can have my kid go out there for $100 and he'll tear this whole house.
Right.
It's and have fun. It's but when it comes by and putting the puzzle back together, that's where that's where it matters, because that's where the details and the skill. Is my herringbone look like herringbone, or does it look like somebody threw some Legos against some glue?
Right.
Is it how does it?
And that's the thing too, right? Like how. Like getting them to come back and redo work that is clearly shabby.
Yeah, and the way I typically manage that is that we're going to, it's really the promise of the future. Say, hey, I got this other project I need you guys to go look at. However, I need this one done here.
You're better than I am. I have a different system.
You just fucking fire them.
Well,
sue them and fire them.
Well, no. See, here's the thing, right? See, I've sued like 2-3 contractors, right? And this shit is just a waste of time. It is a waste of time.
They ain't got no money.
So what I started doing,
and the good ones are going to do it right.
2 things.
Yeah.
So first thing was their insurance. I need to be added as a writer to their insurance policy.
Correct.
Right? Because if they jump ship on the job, I don't have to sue them. I can just file a claim against their insurance. So now I don't have to go through the motions like, hey, here's the multiple messages. Here's the job abandonment post. I'm filing a claim against their E&O for job abandonment. First thing. The second thing I started doing, and you ever notice, how do your contractors want you to pay them?
Well, they always want to pay ahead.
No. Like what means? Like what is the means in which you pay them?
Well, I mean, on all of my contractors now, they're paid on Monday, and they're paid with checks as regular I-9 or
Why do you
1099s.
pay? Why are you paying them with a check? Do you know why? That's by design.
Yeah, why do I pay them with a check?
No, like why do contractors want you to pay them with a check?
Well, I don't know why.
Because you can't dispute a check or a wire.
Yeah.
You can dispute a debit or a credit card transaction all day. And contractors know that. So the reason why contractors always want a check, a wire, or Zelle, those are the only three things you cannot dispute, regardless of whether they deliver service or not. So what I started doing, I made it where my contractors, I'd be like, hey, I need to pay you with a card. It's like, you can Zelle me the money. So I'd be like, all right, why don't I just bring you a check? I would meet them over there and be like, shit, I left my checks. Let me sign you up for PayPal right now. And I would tell them, if you want to get paid, if you want the job, I need to be able to pay you electronically. I travel for work. Man, like I'm always gone. I'm always out of town. If you want to get paid on Friday, I got to be able, because I'm not in front of my computer. My job don't let me have my computer. So I won't be able to get wires out. I can't meet you for checks. My bank don't do. I would make up the way they sell me on paying them is the way I sell them on setting up electronic payment.
Correct.
And there have been multiple contractors that have done shitty work or have jumped ship on the job that I would just call my credit card company and be like, hey, here's the messages. They said that they can't come back. I want to dispute. One of them, I disputed $71,000. Got it all back in 36 hours.
Wow.
The guy hit me for $70,000. Like, it was a big job. Hey, man, all right, we're down. We need this draw. I'm going to have 6 guys out. It was like a 5,000 square foot fourplex. Supposed to have 5-6 guys out. And for 2 weeks, had one guy out every other day. So I finally hit him up and he was like, yeah, I got another big job. I can't do it. I was like, check this out. You got 48 hours. I said, if I come out the Wednesday and you guys aren't there, I'm getting my money back. He thought I was going to sue him.
Yeah.
Called the credit card company, called up PayPal, called them both and was like, hey, here's the messages of the guy jumping ship. 48 hours later, $71,000 back in my account.
Now, most of them, I'm not paying that far in advance. We pay after the work's done. So
well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So when the work was being done, it was being done up until when I forgot how we found out that the plumbing wasn't hooked up properly. They had switches on the wall that weren't wired up. So when I called, right. And it's the thing, right? And here's the thing. If I paid him in a wire, the only thing I could do is beg him to come out and then try to sue him. Paying him electronically, I was like, you got till Wednesday to fix this or I'm getting my money back. Wow. He didn't know what I meant.
Sound like American Express about to get rich again.
So my thing is, this is the advice I always give to everyone.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with a contractor, especially a new relationship, only pay them with credit card. Because if you don't, when they walk off the job, there's absolutely nothing you could do about it. And to your point, I've been burned enough times to know that I had to do something different.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, that shit saved me $70,000.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, I mean,
but mind you, it's not only $70,000, right? Think about the money that I paid him, and then the money I have to pay to bring someone in
and back
to undo everything he did
and redo it,
and then still finish a project
and then clean up the mess. Yeah, it's having to redo work is insane. It's you come by, you figure out. When I bring in a new crew, if somebody abandons or whatever, there's always something they fucked up. They don't know what was left behind. They got in over their head. They didn't want to tell you. Whatever the case may be. So then we're having to undo the damage, fix whatever it is correctly, go back in and clean up the mess, and then I probably have had to, if I have debt on it, have additional carrying costs for the additional time.
Yep.
So, and that kind of with our conversation we had with a gentleman earlier today, I was talking with him and I was telling him, listen, man, I got these guys, they want to argue over, or some of the guys on my team or whatever, my partner want to argue over $1,000 over this contractor versus this one. If this guy's dependable and that guy's borderline, but he's a couple grand cheaper, he's not cheaper if he doesn't do the fucking job.
Correct.
If I pay him and it cost me $2,000 more, but I know it's $2,000 more.
Right.
I don't know what I'm going to get with this guy. If I got to go and hire another, if I got to come back and hire this guy, then it's double. If I only got to drag it out one extra month, it's his plus an extra payment.
Right.
If it's and then if he did something wrong, it's this, then pay to fix it and another time. I mean, there's a cost of choosing bad people.
And that's the other thing that people don't think about. When you deal with a bad contractor, it's not just the monies that you lose in paying the contractor. It's the carrying cost. Yeah. And more importantly for me is the opportunity cost. That same guy was supposed to be finished with that project in May
Correct.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
When did rates go up?
Yeah. Well, pretty soon, right?
July.
Yeah.
I was on track to get a 3.75% rate on that property. Right now, 8.25%.
Yeah. Wow.
So what I missed by that guy screwing off, and
how,
those
how,
3
how
months,
expensive is a property?
it's a $1.2 million loan now.
$1.2 million at a 4% difference in
At over 4% difference.
Yeah.
I mean, right. So think about it, right? I was at 3.75.
Your rate
like
doubled.
8. Yeah, my rate literally doubled.
Yeah, not
so,
figuratively. That's
literally,
yeah.
and that means that the months spent on my extra $7,000 of carrying costs for all the months that I lost, and then every dollar that I lose month after month, where I could have been at 3.75, I'm at 8.25.
Exactly.
Because of that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. And we run into those things, and that's a constant battle. That's why you try to build better relationships with better people, and I'll just pay the motherfuckers.
Right.
I'll pay for the better guy that I don't have to micromanage, so that I have the freedom to go and do the better projects. And then we make sure that we send somebody out there, either myself or a professional, depending on what's being done, to do the inspections before we pay out those checks. And before the finals check's done, I want it fully inspected. And they get pissed off.
Yeah, they do.
Because it amazes me that they called for a check before that hammer hits that last nail.
Oh yeah.
But when I called to say where the hell you at,
it's funny that they're the worst. It's like, hey, can you come pay me? I'm like, oh, you're done? We'll be done in an hour. Like, damn, well, you're not even done.
Yeah.
And you want me to scurry?
So usually what on the people that are new, I was like, listen, we'll set you up here. I'll get you a 10% draw in the beginning. We'll get you going, get you rolling. That's about the biggest risk I'm taking in the upfront. Then we're going to pay after the work is done, and on the final payout, we're going to send an inspector. So I need to know what day you're going to be done, and then, so you're telling me Friday. I'm scheduling it for Friday. And if you're not done on Friday, then you ain't coming until he can get scheduled back in.
Right.
And then it keeps them accountable to the date. And then they come in, they do the inspection, they look it over, make sure it looks correct, everything looks fine, and sometimes, now they're going to see it. Sometimes the inspector's just somebody I know, it's just good. I'm not paying somebody, hey, go over there, go check out that property. What do I do? Just walk around with a fucking clipboard, bro. Put on a clipboard and grab a vest.
Make some grunt noise.
And just point at anything that looks ugly. Just point with your pen and write shit down. You don't have to say a word. Yeah, and then anyway, but then I'll go up there.
Pretty smart.
Yeah. Well, we call that the silent walk around in the automotive. Like if you ever go do it, you trade in your car, you just walk. You don't say nothing. You just walk around and touch all the dents and the dings and wait for the people to tell you, oh yeah, well it's this happened. Oh man, I was drunk that day, or oh man, my house is too small and the garage hit it. And I'm like, the garage hit your car? You didn't hit the garage. But you don't say nothing. You just walk around and touch, and then in their mind it drops down that that valuation, but without you having to do a word. But anyway, going on with that. So I'll send them over there to do it, and then if everything is right, then we'll get them paid and get it going. If I have to call them back though, it's a little bit easier because most of the time we're able to catch those problems up front and say, hey, the fucking light switch didn't work. Why is hey, okay, I'll get to it. Okay, well, when you're done, he'll sign off on it and I get your money. Right. And then typically they'll go back and, oh yeah, I saw this too, and I saw this too, man. I need that check. Are you ready? Okay, and then we're good. Right. Get them paid, and then we keep on trucking. But before, that wasn't how I did it. Before, when I first started, it was, how much is it going to be? 30 grand. Cool. How much do you need? Oh, we want like 30%. All right, how much? 10 grand. Okay, all right, here's your 10 grand. Get to work. Let me know when it's done. I gotta go buy some more shit, and then I come back. Where you at? Wait, ain't nothing going on here. Yeah, this ain't working out. So, I thought y'all were good at this.
So, do you run your own teams, or you still use general contractors?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I manage the general contractors. Because I have 4 groups that we work with on a consistent basis. Right. And then they're their own companies, and then so I set them out there, and these are my main core guys, and then ancillary people come on board as well. Right. So and some of them end up working for each other and back and forth, but those guys work it. So basically, I manage the managers of each project and say, okay, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here, right. And then this is the project coming up next. And the way I kind of keep them loyal is I just make sure, hey, this house is done. You're at 329 Palmetto today. I need you to go to 245 Lemming on this date, but that project is scheduled to be listed retail with my lender on October 31st. So I need you to finish up with this project in time to be there and finish that project by that time, because if you're late on that, they're going to charge me another fee, and then I can't pay you.
Right.
And then they're like, they don't know what that means, but all they heard is they're not getting paid.
Right.
And so, but then later, they already know, hey, I got more work coming, so they're not beating me up on the money as much, and they're trying to stay engaged in getting a good product, because they don't want to get fired for the job that's coming in the future. I keep that carrot dangling. And on the next crew, same thing. And then those 4 guys after 50, I don't know about 50 for sure, but a large number of people that didn't work out, those people went through attrition, but those guys have been on board, and their little crews come on good.
I'll tell you right now, I genuinely believe every contractor has a shelf life.
Yes.
Every contractor has a shelf life.
After so many deals, they start getting either greedier or sloppier.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you either spoiled them,
or they go spoil, right? But I genuinely believe in our space, no matter how good they are, there's a version of that contractor that has a shelf life.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and that's why that's what we got. Let's say 50 others. They go through. You're going to have attrition, and you're going to pull them in. Yep. But it's a revolving door of about 4 guys we have working on a consistent basis.
Right.
And then as those people fall off, now every once in a while we have people that cross over. That I'll go to a project and I'll be like, I thought y'all quit. Oh yeah, I'm working for him now. Okay.
Right.
It's like, that I'm like, all right, whatever, man, just get it done. And they're, they get it done. And I enjoy that. And I love doing the befores and the afters and showing all those, how they're doing the things. And that part's fun. But mostly I want this thing to perform either as a retail exit or a long-term buy and hold, so is it going to be a rental or something? So I want the product to be done right. And I don't want me or whoever I'm selling it to have to touch it for the bones part for at least 15 years. I want it fixed. It's right. It's good. It's solvent. So somebody messes up the paint, we'll paint it. But I don't want the foundation fucked up. I don't want the roof messed up. I don't want leaks here. I don't want cracks there. Just make it right.
Feel that, man.
It's like because I don't want to do it twice.
So wait, you're just gonna stay in this space until?
No. I'm going to do this space.
Do the big project, and then what? Do you hang it up after that?
No, I'll never hang it up. I don't think I'll be 200 years old if I'm still living that long doing something. I think I'll probably be in some version of sales space forever, because you don't like doing the sales stuff? I love it. Be on
a yacht somewhere.
You know what, though? I'll be on a yacht. I'll be flipping them motherfuckers. But I'll be like, hey, man, Mr. Abdullah, this one right here, man.
Right.
Yeah.
This motherfucker got 4 motors.
Yeah, we got this. Now, I just got this from the prince of whatever. And, he don't want me to tell you, man, but I'll get it for you right now. Right. And then we'll
start flipping yachts.
I'll be flipping yachts, flipping planes. It doesn't matter because I like the process. I like being engaged with people. I like talking to people. I like figuring out what motivates them to do things, but it may not always be as money driven as some things have to be, and then I actually like the education space, helping people get to whatever their next level is, because it allows me to connect with other people who are doing better. Right. And then I can learn, okay, great, I'm doing this and I'm pretty confident this is good, but it could be great. And so let's see what this guy's doing. But the guy below that is not at that level yet. So let me pull you up to here, and then I'm going to find out, I'll network with the people above me, and then they're going to pull me here, and I can pull you with me. Right. And I love being able to do that for people, because people had done that for me my whole life. When I was a kid, my parents are nice people, but the sales was not their world, and making money was not a priority for them. So learning how to do that, I had to learn from other people. So it wasn't something I didn't come in a family that was financially successful. They're nice people, but just not, finances were not their strong suit. So I had to get around people. Okay, how are these managers doing it? Hey, you got a nice car. How'd you buy that Corvette? And then find out later that probably that's not the right way to buy it. But but you start going and learning. Okay, how do we do these things? And then being able to pass that down to whomever is interested and pull those up and help them win. And we build up those teams. I do enjoy that aspect of it. So I want to get that development. That's more of a legacy type thing. I want to get that development built up. It'll be good for the community, good for the people, good for the people involved. It's multiple facets to that deal. We got the flying community, mixed use opportunity, the city benefits, the aesthetics. There's a lot of benefits, but I think those connections are allowed to do other developments as well. And then you got your deal going on 300. How much you said? 340 million. Yeah, $344 million. I mean, so it seems like that's just the the ARV of developments.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you know what I mean?
That's
It's
a
like,
running number.
yeah, it's
now.
like 300 to 400 million. You know, it's no big deal. It's
But yeah, the thing about what I want to do different with my fund is that I want my fund to operate independent of the system. Right. I keep saying this. I want to unplug from the matrix. I want to be able to my fund having $250 million available to fund, and I don't have to sell to Wall Street note buyers. I can fund with whatever project, however I want, at whatever leverage I want. And for the investors who are doing their thing, reward them with, yeah, we'll finance your project 100%. So, and who's going to stop me, right? And be able to, make it make sense for the investor who is doing big volume, or be able to high leverage up. And I just feel like the private sector is just so tainted with paper pushers, and the people who are really driving who are really moving the industry is being told what to do by the people who are not. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why, when I'm hearing your projects and I'm hearing all the stuff that's happening, the industry just comes in. The industry is institutionalized. And the private sector is just all but infiltrated by the institutions, and the institutions are making the private sector the conventional sector, and I don't like no parts of it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it at all.
So what are your thoughts on BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street Capital?
I mean, again, they're the matrix.
Yeah,
they're what I'm talking about. BlackRock controls the world, so.
Almost.
You know what I mean? They have their hand in everything. But even in the private sector is so incestual. You know what I mean? I'll say the private sector's money is controlled, not 85% of the money is controlled by 3 entities, right?
Yeah.
And
I just named them.
No. But here's the thing, right? So those entities, right? So because the dollar in real estate investing is stepped on 4 or 5 times, right? Before it makes it to us. It goes from the BlackRocks to the Redwoods to the KKRs to intermediary to me, then to you, right? That dollar starts at fucking 2% interest. By the time it makes it to you, it's 14-15%. It is stepped on multiple times. So my thing is to be to the point where we can unplug from all of this shit, because this person wants this index rating at Wall Street, who wants this, who wants this, who wants this, who rolls it down to you, and at the end of the day, you got fucking Bank of America telling you how to buy private, do hard money loans. You just don't know it's Bank of America, or you don't know it because they're all controlled by fucking BlackRocks of the world.
Yeah, they set the tone,
right?
They set the policies. That was it's not the presidents and the politicians. They're the figureheads.
It's the private sector.
Yeah, they're the figureheads that take the blame.
These private companies. And here's the craziest part. You know where this whole, because you've worked with lenders. Has any of the lenders ever told you about you have to have experience within some period of time? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, when I first started,
right.
Yeah, that was. But have you done somebody this within 6 months or 12 months or?
You know where that came from?
Probably oversight and regulation.
Two companies, 2 guys who are the biggest no buyers in the private sector decided that this period of time in the past was going to constitute experience, and then they made that the standard when institutions came into the private sector. These 2 guys who had a large market share of the notes being sold decided that this period of time in the past was going to constitute experience, and that's what the index rating was based off of, which is why the entire literally two or three guys who were like, hey, we got 55% of the market share, and we're going to determine that 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years is the standard in which experience is going to go back to. You know how I know? Because I know both of those guys.
There you go.
Right? They told me the story. And when I'm hearing it, my first question to them was, why? Why is it that you go back only a year or 3 years, 5 years for you to say that I have experience, right? And their position was because the market changes so much and blah, blah, blah. But then my question so I was like, okay, how long have you been doing this? I've been doing this for 31. I was like, no, you haven't. According to your philosophy, you've been doing this for 3 years, 5 years. According to you, because you're saying that my 14 years in the business is limited to 3 years based on your philosophy.
To the most recent 3 years.
Well, most recent 3 years. So you don't have 30 years in the business. You got 3 years according to your philosophy.
Correct.
Right. And then that's where it kind of got awkward. I was like, I'm fucking done with this conversation.
That was kind of like what I said about the realtors earlier. You ain't learned nothing for the first year.
Right, exactly. So it's so funny. So the reason why, I asked about your experience and everything is my fund, we need to unplug from that shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, we really do. We need to unplug from the institutions running the private sector, because it's bastardizing it. It's skewing it to a conventional realm, and it's putting people who are highly experienced in the same bucket for people who are doing their first and second deal, and it is just ridiculous in the purest form of the phrase.
Yeah.
Yes.
And easy to manipulate.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, if you needed a handful of flips, okay, great. You need to double close some fucking wholesales. Here you go. Here, I just made, 2 of them real good. They're 100% profits.
Right.
Oh yeah, you're great. Okay, but you ain't never fucking picked up a hammer.
Correct.
Correct. But I can show the documents that show I bought and I sold. It's it's like
funny business.
I mean, the institutional deals, they're always going to be a challenge, man. It's they have so much power and so much oversight, and they don't have it in just one area. It's in multiple areas across all product models and all countries. You think that we're at war with this place or that place. Well, I'm at war with those places if y'all tell me I got to be at war with them.
Right.
It's because y'all want to make money for this department or this department. It's they start moving it up, but then people ain't bother me none. It's any place I've ever been, everybody acts pretty much the same, man.
Right.
It's they happy, they sad, they crying, they eating, having kids. That's it. But somehow them governments, they love causing problems. It's it's.
So I want to talk about the hot topic, though.
What's that? What's the hot topic?
AI taking over the world on some Terminator shit.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be fun, man. I mean,
I feel like I'm gonna be like John Connor.
You're gonna be like John.
Connor.
I would like to be that way, but man, I like eating tacos, so I'm probably gonna be the one that John Connor goes, I don't want to die like that guy. It's but the I mean, so well, okay. Well, what's your take on it? You want to talk about it? I have my thoughts on it, but.
I mean, my thing is, my thoughts are simply this, right? All of these super sci-fi movies about robot revolutions and shit. It was all cute 20 years ago. Today, there's some shit to really worry about. Like, I really think that whole thing is inevitable.
But I don't think that they were cute and whatnot. I think that they were trying to say this is what we see as a potential of happening, and then somebody else said, I can make that happen.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna stress test that theory.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's like because I think the sci-fi, in my opinion, does a really good job of predicting the technological advances of the future. I watched a Star Trek show, and they got all the shit we got now.
Right. Except we're not beaming yet.
That's not true. We are doing that at a one molecule level. So that's already started. Look it up. Look it up. So they have through quantum transfers, they've been able to transfer that one molecule over to the other side. So now that's one atom at a time. That's great.
It's only a matter of time.
But eventually we'll be able to get
Scotty,
right. Fucking 50 years ago, we were, or let's see, when I in the 90s, I had a, whatever was on a 3.5-inch disc, 1.44 megabytes. Now I got,
there's a little.
I got like on my cell phones 2 terabytes of space. Right. It's
right.
So, but I think that they were trying to say, listen, these are the things that we see advancing at a higher level, and a lot of these things are already implemented, like Skynet through Terminator.
Is Google.
We already
pretty much Google.
Yeah, we're already
Amazon.
We're already building that technology up, and when that technology is designed, like the premise of Skynet, if I remember correctly, so all the researchers do your thing, but was that. They wanted to. They taught it to protect itself. Right. And then it found eventually when we tried to delete that system because it was too hostile, it viewed us as the threat. So in an effort to protect itself, which it was programmed to do, it began to terminate us.
Right.
And then and that was what we because the AI is super scary. I mean, I can deep fake my voice. I mean, I can deep fake my character, my avatar as a human being, and then I can regenerate my voice like on the AI we use for the coming inbound leads. It sounds like me. They don't know. When it goes active. So as that's developing and learning how I speak and the intonations and the tones, it emulates a little bit better each step.
So essentially, these androids, robots,
you're not even going to be able to differentiate.
Right. You ain't going to be able to differentiate you walking into a room.
You look at the news and think the president's telling you something, and then all of a sudden you see that flicker and you're like, whoa, what was that? You're not even real, but you only catch that one of the 100 times you see it, and you're like, oh, it's just a computer glitch on the TV. No, it's fucking bullshit.
Right.
It was just a studio put together an imagery, and now it's gotten to a level. I remember when we were kids or early teens, they had that little dancing baby, and that was the highest tech that they had.
Right.
Well, not now. Now we got deepfake voice, we got deepfake avatars, and when we start integrating that with a system of artificial intelligence that's able to take all the information of all incoming data in voice, audio, stream, visual, and written text, and then make decisions and draw conclusions on that at an instantaneous space through its quantum computers, you're not going to be able to compete. Your brain won't process fast enough.
It's funny that you mentioned compete because I was just thinking about this, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say something or someone was able to make a copy and paste of you.
Yeah, they already can.
Right.
Yeah.
If you had to go against you, would you be able to outperform you?
There's no way, because you're not coming. It's not you against you. It's you. It's a copy of you with the enhancement of all the other.
Well, no. So I'm not saying with the AI aspect because I'm spinning off.
Okay.
So, because I was thinking like if with all of the things that, and I always ask people this. If you were literally a copy and paste of you, just duplicate it right now, and you were set to compete against yourself.
Okay.
Do you think you could best an exact clone of you?
With the short amount of time, I think it would take a limited amount of time, because that entity is frozen in that observation of existence. So it's me as of that. However much distance has passed. Right. So I'm creating new solutions moving forward, unless it has the ability.
It's a clone. It's not like a statue. So.
Yeah, well, I get that, but it's a clone with the information biased of that instant that that I was copied. New information is being developed constantly, currently, and since it doesn't have an outside source to bring in new data, it's having to infer.
You're adding layers.
Yeah.
Well, technically, if it don't have news outlets, then
it's not going to know what to do. You're just going to sit there and keep observing while it stays stationary in what it knows.
Well, no, if it's a clone of you, it's going to be observing and learning the same way that you are.
Well, if it's that duplicated of a clone, then there would be no way to beat it. The best solution you could probably do is to find a homeostasis with that product. It's trying
I love that response. I don't think I've ever heard that response to that question.
Because
you gotta, if that clone is experiencing different stimuli.
That because it's different. Yeah, it's different. Right now, it's just standing there observing.
Even if you're right next to each other, you're experiencing the world a little differently, right?
Yeah. See, God mode came on. He's like,
right? He's speaking from.
But I mean, I think that would be, you would have to find a balance with that entity if it's able to duplicate everything. Otherwise, you're either going to you'll just end up terminating each other.
So I don't know. I always felt like, because the way I always rationalize how I would handle that is that I would think of what I would do and then do something that I wouldn't do. But then that would be the same thought process.
But he knows.
He would do the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Ultimately, you're going to have two thoughts that are going to go the same. And so if your impulse is to survive, then you're going to know that working together is going to help you to survive. If you don't like yourself and you want to terminate yourself, then you're going to terminate yourself. Right. So I think how you feel about yourself is going to really impact what the two of you do to each other. if you like yourself, it's going to be some badassery happening. Right. Now you got two of you on. Now you got 22 locations.
Right.
It's right. If y'all don't like you, then all them gone. It's everything's falling down. You're trying to take over. I'm going to dominate. No, I'm dominating. Let's dominate together. Fuck yeah. Right, but I think I would think that would be ultimately how it would play out. You're either going to work together or you're not. But I don't know. Now I'm going to go find somebody who can clone me, and then I'm going to go play at the beach and let that dude work.
Right. See, but then that'd be his position. Like, I'm going to let him work.
Yeah, man. So we're kind of getting close to probably got about 10-15 minutes. Man. So what?
I really gotta pee. Y'all can keep going. Just let me walk.
Well, no, I gotta.
Right. You gotta roll.
Pick up my little man at 6:00.
Okay. All right. So we'll start cutting this thing out short then. So what? If you could tell the audience, something that like one nugget of information, something that's super important or that resonates with you as truth, what would that be? It'd be any aspect.
So the number one thing I always want people to know, especially entering in this space, is that relationships are king. Mm-hmm. Relationships trump any dollar that you'll ever make, any dollar that you'll ever save, any dollar that you'll ever spend. Relationships are the most important currency in this entire industry and on this planet. It is what keeps people in business. It is what gets people into business, and it is what keeps people sustaining. And I always tell people that relationships can survive good and bad times as long as they're worked properly. And my number one recommendation to everyone is that even if you're in a transaction that goes bad, or even a transaction that goes left, not bad. If it's a transaction that goes left, walk away with a level of respect that's shown to the next person, because you never, in this space, you're definitely going to run across that person again, one way or the other.
Absolutely.
And I would say that take the opportunity to create a relationship with everyone that you can, because you never know how someone could be key to your next project or your next big win. And relationships need to be nurtured as if they're the only important currency on this entire planet.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you, man.
Yeah.
It amazes me how many people got time to fill up somebody's DMs, but not to have time to build the relationships that matter to them the most.
Right.
It's
Right.
Right. You're sitting there worried about somebody ain't gonna make you no money. Why aren't you focused on the people that are gonna help you out?
Right. And that's where the who not how comes in.
Yeah.
Right. Who not how would teach you the power of relationships in achieving your goals.
Absolutely.
And then the other point is extreme ownership. Anyone who is in a C level, like executive level, management level position, or entrepreneur, you have to read Extreme Ownership. Extreme Ownership allows everyone to cut the excuses and to take ownership of anything that's assigned to you. And A Message to Garcia, I didn't tell you about that one.
Yeah.
A Message to Garcia is it's a very short read. It's a 45-minute audible book. The Message to Garcia is simply this. It's in World War II. A commander gives a private an assignment. Get this letter to the commander on the other side of the country. That's all the information that he has. No directions, no how-tos, no step-by-step guides. Get this to Commander Smith.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And the concept of A Message to Garcia is that it is the earnest is on the individual, that private, to understand what exactly needs to happen to get to that goal. Figure out where the commander is, how to travel, how to navigate through the space, utilize every resource needed to figure out how to deliver that goal. And The Message to Garcia is simply is a book that pretty much states, that you must take ownership in your assignments, and sometimes that comes without a step-by-step guide on how to do it, and that you need to, one, be empowered to do stuff without instructions, and then mandate empowerment of your team to operate tasks without step-by-step instructions.
With anonymity, you got to be able to step away from your people, and that's I can mostly attest to the dealership world more so than in the real estate as far as running large teams. But I mean, every department had their own responsibilities, and they know what to do. And they might, they all depend on each other delivering, the best product for their department. But they're not overseeing each other. They're not, the finance department handles this aspect of it. The title department handles this. The sales department handles this. The service department handles this. The marketing advertising department handles this, that, and the other. And they all need each other to function, but they're not, nobody's really, even the person in charge is not really hounding down on each person's job. They're giving them a mission, to your point of him saying, we want to accomplish this goal. I need more units sold. I need better numbers here. I need faster turnover here. I need more repair orders done here. I need quicker times, whatever. Y'all figure it out.
Y'all figure it out. Exactly.
Figure it out.
And I'm going to tell you, the problem with the workforce today is that, okay, tell me what to do. Or how do I do that? Or where do I go?
And like with my kids, and they get frustrated because they'll say, well, how do I do this? I said, well, let's go figure it out. And then, so we'll go out there and we'll start something. It might be whatever. And well, how do I do it? Well, I would probably try like this. And I'll give them just a hair of an idea. Now, you try to figure out what you think, and then they're messing with this or moving this, and then they're getting mad and agitated. But the second, and you can see it right then, that's when I feel good. The second you see it hit and they figure it out, man, that confidence level is through the fucking roof. And they're like, oh, okay, I got it. They're so happy. They were mad and cussing you out 5 seconds ago, but as soon as they figure it out, and then they know in the future they can, then on the next task, you're like, hey, well, just figure it out, man. Worst case scenario, you can't, we'll get it done together, but I think you got this. And then I got it.
Right.
And they figure out, then for the rest of their life, they don't have to worry about it. They're going to be people that are going to go after it and solve a problem. They're not going to be victims of the situation. They're going to figure out how to dominate the situation.
Exactly. So,
and I think that's good. Well, man, I sure appreciate having you here. I know you got to get running. Thank you so much for taking your time, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Again, man, Richard, thank you for being here. And then we'll cut this thing loose. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. Coming out to Richard M. Shelton. Go to richardmshelton.com for any of the socials. We look forward to seeing you. How do they find you?
Find me again on Instagram and Facebook at Adonis Lockett. Investors who want to park money in the fund, get high returns on a safe investment vehicle, lnhcapital.com/invest. And anyone looking to get a private money loan from an investor who's giving loans to investors by an investor, lnhcapital.com/apply.
Perfect, man. Thank you guys for being here at the Richard M. Shelton podcast for No Excuse Real Estate. We'd love you being here. Want you guys to check out, if you have any questions, come to my socials. You can go to my website, richardmshelton.com. Find Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, the new X, whatever you need. Come see me. We're here to help.